firstly, congratulations on your Lifetime Achievement Award from the Clark County Arts Commission. I imagine that it's really wonderful to be recognized in this way by the community that you've devoted so much of your life to.
Of course it is. It is. I'm very honored for this award. I always said that the Vancouver Symphony is the orchestra of my life. And I was very young when I took the orchestra first. I was 32. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy that people recognize all your achievements and all your hard work of this orchestra that really has become something very, very, very remarkable.
Absolutely. I want to read this really nice quote from the Arts Commission. I believe this was during the gala. They said, "For 30 years, Maestro Salvador Brotons has been a gift to our community, offering generously his knowledge, passion, leadership, and consummate artistry as a musician, composer, and conductor of our Vancouver Symphony Orchestra. With his vibrant presence, he has enriched, energized, and inspired many with music that spans time and cultures." I just thought that was such a sweet sentiment.
Who wrote that? Somebody? Very nice words, and I always felt very well in Vancouver. I miss you very, very, very much. I hope I'll be able to come very soon, but believe me, this pandemic is awful.
Well, we all miss you very much too. So how about we back up a bit and talk about your background, if that's all right?
Sure.
Can you tell me a little bit about your education as a flutist?
Fine. I come from a family of musicians, and my grandfather and father, they were flutists. And of course, I almost was born with a flute in my fingers. In fact, when I was quite little, then I played the piccolo, which is the little flute, because of course the flute was too large for me. Then, yeah, flute is a fantastic instrument. It's the instrument of the family. And it's coming from a family of musicians is something very interesting, because my father was always making music at home, playing music, listening to music. Then it's an ambiance that you are around all that, and definitely music means something to you very special.
Absolutely. So where is it that you studied first?
I studied first flute and piano, both things. But first of all, solfege. That means the notes and all the rudimentary things about music. And then the second year, I was starting playing flute and piano, both things. And then later, I was more learning how to compose, and a little harmony and counterpoint and all that. And my attention was focusing to composition. And even later was the attention of the conducting. That's a natural progress, because a musician or a conductor, you cannot say, okay, I want to be a conductor from the very beginning. First of all, you need to learn an instrument, to play well an instrument, to be a musician in an orchestra, and then later, if you are knowledgeable, you have a very good knowledge of the orchestration of the instruments and all that, then you are allowed to become maybe a conductor.
maybe. So what is it that made you really want to pursue that?
It's a natural thing. I mean, when you learn an instrument, you learn flute, then you learn piano. Piano is a very polyphonic instrument. Then you become interested in composition. And then you become interested in conducting. Everything is like, okay, the flute is only one melody. When you take the piano, is several melodies, because it's a polyphonic instrument. Then you need more. You need to know more about music, and that's the interest that you go into composition, and then later to the great pieces of the great composers, Beethoven, Brahms, and to analyze the great composition for orchestra. It's a process that little by little builds.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, after you studied in Spain, you came to Florida?
Yeah, I finished my studies in Barcelona. All my studies in music I finished, and then I was working as a professional flutist in the Barcelona Opera, and came to Barcelona a professor from Florida State University looking for my music, and I said to him, you know, I would really love to come to the United States to see where I am right now. And the person always said, okay, you could come to our university to do a master or a doctorate, and you will have a scholarship and all that. Facilitate me a lot. And that's the reason that I said, okay, then I leave Barcelona. I was asking for a leave of absence in the Barcelona Opera as a flutist, and we moved with my wife to Florida State University, to Tallahassee, Florida. And I spent there 2 years. I got my doctorate. And after that, with a doctorate with my hand, I said, okay, maybe I can get a job in the United States, which is a wonderful opportunity. And I never went back playing flute in the opera. And
So
then I got the position at Portland State University that allowed me later to get the position at Vancouver Symphony Orchestra.
Right, right. So when is it that you started at Portland State University?
I started in 1989. No, 87, sorry, 1987. And I was professor there of counterpoint and also conducting the orchestra. My job was mainly conduct the orchestra and to teach some other subjects like repertory, like opera literature, symphonic literature, and counterpoint. And I got that in 1987 after graduating my doctorate from Florida State University.
So what is it that compelled you to Portland?
Fine, just the fate of life. No, when I was in Florida, I got a possibility for a job at Portland State University, and my conductor, my mentor over there said, no, if you're interested to go to this part of the world, it's very far away from Florida. And I said, fine, why not? I am very interested to go any place in the country. And when I got the interview, when I moved to Portland, I saw, my guys, Portland is a fantastic city. I love this place much more than Florida. Then if I get the job, I will be perfect for me. And I was fortunate to get the job.
Absolutely. So if this is your 30th year with the VSO, that would mean that you started in 1990. Is that correct?
1991, exactly. Yeah, 1991 I started. Yes, there was I remember that I passed the audition in 1991, the month of March.
Wow, that's a good memory for so long ago.
Yeah, very good memory. I still remember the program that I did.
So what was the process for getting that job?
The job was Mr. Walt Cleland, that was the first conductor of the Vancouver Symphony, decided to retire. And then the board decided to get a search and to invite 3 interested conductors to cover the job. And I was fortunate to meet a person that was playing viola. Her name was Romana Smith. Still remember her, she died a few years ago. That she mentioned, you should be applying for the job because there is no money involved. There were no money involved there. I mean, I had to conduct for nothing.
Wow.
But she mentioned to me, there is a lot of potential in Vancouver, and this orchestra could go very far. And I was very young, I was very interested in learning new repertory. I said, okay, that would be a good way for me to practice my gesture in an orchestra and all that. I applied and I got the position, and look at that, it has been the orchestra of my life.
Oh, well, that's such a wonderful story. So it sounds like it was pretty different back then. What was it like starting out here?
Fine, the orchestra was a community orchestra. It was a group of friends, people that there were people that were friends that they met once per week only, and they play a little music, and then when they were becoming closer to the concert, maybe they did 2 rehearsals in a week, and then they play the best they could. That was the idea. I mean, it was a group of friends, a fantastic ambience, but not very demanding in the level and all that. And of course, when I do the orchestra, you have to adapt to all that. I mean, you cannot demand something to be very angry if the things are not coming the way you were expecting. Then, but little by little, I was raising the level, and then I require auditions to be able to be a player in the orchestra. We started paying the principal chairs, the principal solos at the wings, and also the concertmaster and all that. And we progressed. We got a board that we fundraise some money, and then we start little by little getting better and getting financially much better, of course. And they start paying me a little.
And so was that really your ambition from the start, was to really grow it into a professional organization?
Fine, that was my first ambition, but I had to do it little by little, very little by little, because a thing like that you cannot change drastically. It would be a big mistake if you change that. It was little by little, and also some people realized that some people that were playing and say, fine, this orchestra is getting to a level that I am not, and I will step down. And little by little was, and also the audience was also demanding more and more and more, and programs that were more interesting and more demanding. And it was a process that was done very cautiously.
Yeah, it sounds like it seems like it worked out pretty well
Yeah,
so far.
it worked perfectly. And then when I moved back to Barcelona, because I got different jobs over here, then I was fortunate enough that they let me keep the Vancouver Symphony. And now it's the orchestra of my life, because I had conducted several orchestras here and there, but I mean, I stay 5, 6 years and all that, and then they won't change. Not because I was doing a bad job, but it's just because they want to have a different phase and all that. Mm-hmm. In America, it's very different, and fortunately, I'm very happy to stay in Vancouver Symphony.
Absolutely. So what was it like sort of transitioning from living locally and conducting the orchestra to living overseas again?
Fine, a lot of traveling, a lot of jet lag, a lot of, but on the other hand, for me, it's very fruitful and very good, because when you leave the place where you live and then you move to a different continent, different language, different mentality, that's a week that really opens your mind incredibly a lot. And because every time that I come to Vancouver, I feel very welcome, very well loved, and I do a fantastic concert, and the orchestra loves me. I love the audience. I mean, what else can I ask? It's fantastic. It's great.
That's wonderful. So it's been quite a while, and a lot has changed over the course of your time here. I have to imagine that it hasn't been all roses. Can you tell me about any hard times that the orchestra has been through?
Yeah, it has been a time. Then I remember still that I think it was around 10 years ago that came somebody came from the board saying, Salvador, the orchestra is broke. And we need to make some reductions in salary and all that. Oh my gosh, I said, why? What has happened? Fine, we've got too many people in our office, and we have too many expenses, and we don't have that many revenues. Then, and I remember, okay, I love this orchestra very much. I want absolutely the orchestra to move forward. And then the community went behind all that, and it solved the problem. But we spent 1 or 2 years that was a little difficult, definitely. Yeah, because of changes. I think we overspend in too many people in our office, and of course the orchestra was not ready to be able to subsidize all that.
Well,
but believe me, the community is so good and right away came people in the community saying, no worry, Salvador, we are going to save this orchestra, and we are going to find people to put some money here, and this will be moving forward. Oh my gosh! When you have such a great cooperation in a community, is a joy to work with them.
It's so true. We're really blessed with such a wonderful community around us here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and it seems like, the orchestra made it through those times, and we're
Yeah.
we're into some different difficult times, but we're still doing all right.
We are doing better than ever.
Absolutely.
And with you here, and with a fantastic office, with a fantastic team in the orchestra and in the office and in the community, a lot of good friends of the Vancouver Symphony. Also, they do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joy.
Absolutely. So to change gears a little bit, it sounds like you've had the chance to work with many, many other orchestras over the years. Can you tell me what that's been like?
Fine, always every orchestra is different, and every orchestra has its own problems and its own advantages. I have been conducting several orchestras in Europe, and I've been experienced that some of them very good, some of them not as good, of course, because life is this way. But you need to adapt to a lot of situations. You need to travel a lot. That's also something that you need to be. Sometimes happens that you are in 1 week in one place and 1 week in another continent, in another week in another different programs. Something depends. I also teach in Barcelona, so it's also that sometimes difficult to adapt your schedule about that. But they also are very flexible. When sometimes if I have a lot of things together, then I am allowed to miss some classes, and then I have to recover later, of course. But it's good to have this flexibility.
Sounds like a pretty busy life.
No, very busy. And also I have two lives, because I have the life as a conductor, and I have the life as a composer. Then when I am very busy composing, when I am very busy conducting, I compose little. But when I am less busy conducting, then I have more time to compose. It's nice.
I'm curious, what's sort of your process when composing a new piece?
Fine, it's a very mysterious thing, but since I love so much this activity, usually every day I spend some time with my own things. That's something that is the expression of your personality when you compose. When you conduct, it's wonderful, because you learn the great pieces of the great masters, and you communicate with a great audience that are looking forward to listening to these great pieces. But when you compose your own piece, it's your own personality, it's your own interior that comes. And then you have a need of working always. If I spend maybe 2 weeks without composing anything new, I feel bad. And especially when I come to Vancouver, believe me, the week I am in Vancouver usually is very productive. I always compose quite a lot, because I am alone, I am silent, I am in the Homewood Suites, which is a fantastic place, that is a fantastic environment. And I am always always a very productive week composing. But it's a mysterious process, but especially the thing that I need the most is silence, concentration, and not to have too many problems in your head. If sometimes you have too many problems, because in some orchestras they make you a lot of meetings and a lot of problems to solve, then the activity as a composer goes slower, and it's more difficult to concentrate.
Yeah, that's very understandable. So I understand that you've written different works with different musicians in mind for solos. How is it different writing for a certain musician?
Hey, that's very often they come to me and say, Salvador, I would like for you to write for me a piece for harp, or a piece for guitar, or a piece for symphonic band or orchestra. or for trombone, for instance. Then, of course, I said, especially if the soloist is very good, that usually happens, then it's a great honor, first of all. And number two, it assures that the interpretation, the performance of the piece that you are going to write is going to be perfect, or people will, or the soloists that will perform with a lot of dedication. That's wonderful. I have been very much fortunate to have written a lot of pieces, solo, especially concertos, for a very good soloist, and they have done phenomenal recordings also and performances all around the world.
So are these usually musicians that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah, usually yes, but sometimes comes, for instance, 2 years ago came a person from New York that I didn't know, but I knew through another person that came to me about writing a piece for bass clarinet. Okay, and I said, first of all, I need to see how you play. But I saw that he plays very well, and then I wrote a piece for bass clarinet because he wanted me to write a piece because he knew my pieces, and he loved my style of composition, and he said, I want you to write because I know that you will write good music. Okay, then.
And that's David Gould, right?
That's David Gould, exactly.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
He came through, especially this person came through Igor Shackman. In fact, there was a friend of him, you know, but I didn't know him at all.
Is it different writing for somebody that you don't know, or does it mostly feel the same?
It's different, yeah, because if you don't know, you need to ask him that, okay, first of all, yeah, I remember once came a young guy saying, Salvador, I would like you to write for me a piece for flute and violin and string orchestra. And I said, but who you are? Are you a bookkeeper? Oh, yeah. And I said, please let me listen to the way you play. And I saw that he played well. And then I wrote, sometimes people are very, they ask you things very naturally and very straightforward.
They know what they're looking for.
You need to make sure that the person is a person that is competent in his field, definitely.
Absolutely. So we've been talking about how much we miss you here. What do you think you're most looking forward to when you can come back?
Oh, to give you a big hug to everybody in the orchestra, in the audience, and the board, and you in the office. Yeah, because believe me, I've been the last time I was in Vancouver, it was in February last.
I know. Actually, speaking of David Gould, that was that concert.
Yeah, it was the last concert I did exactly, and that's. I miss very much because Vancouver is a very special place. First of all, because of the people, but also because the place is fantastic. The air, the mountains, the Mount Hood, the Mount St. Helens, the ocean in the Pacific. It's fantastic. Even if it rains, I love that place.
I agree. Well, fantastic. Do you have any kind of special message for our November audience?
I have a very special message that I miss you very, very much, and I am dying to come back. And hopefully I'll be able to do it as soon as possible. I know that you are going to be having elections here in November. We are following that here in Europe almost every day. I see every day CNN of the news, and then I know it's going to be a very difficult times or very active times in America. And anyway, and believe me, I'm dying to come back, but right now I cannot come back because of this quarantine, that 14 days I have to spend in Canada or in Mexico before coming to United States. But hopefully all this pandemic thing will be over soon, and I'll be able to hug everybody in the audience and musicians and friends.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Salvador.
My pleasure.
It's always a delight.
Anytime you want. It's now with this new technology that you can talk with all over the world and in direct conversations is always a great pleasure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much to you also. Eh?
Oh, well, you're welcome. I'll speak to you soon, I'm sure.
Okay, anytime.
All right, bye-bye.
A big hug. Bye
Hugs.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you soon. See you soon. Bye bye.